How you doing, pioneers? This is mjkk613.14. Bye, unofficial. My eyes. This is another part of the series or whatever it is I'm trying to put together to give pie history, give pie some, maybe give some insight into where we were, where we are, where we need to go. This one I'm going to talk about the in-app transfer. I touched on it a little bit on the last one. The in-app transfer and what I believe the goal of the in-app transfer is. The in-app transfer is come and gone. Now there are people that have the in-app transfer capability and are moving pie and have started economies. Okay. When the in-app transfer started, it was to start pie economy. It was to start pie. Main goal was to start pie moving through the 300 people or so that are pilots, or in-app transfer pilots, that have the feature to move pie around, is what that was supposed to happen. The 300 that can actually transfer pie were to buy goods or services from the community, from people in the community, basically. Because we can people that were here at the time and have the feature to receive pie can receive pie from anybody that's in the in-app transfer. We can receive it, we just can't send it back. They can send and the pilots can send and receive. Okay? And it was to get pie economy rolling, to get it, because right now, still today, the only thing we can do is start a session, earn pie, and that's it. That's all we can do today. That's all we can do with the pie that we're getting. Mining, whatever. We push a button, we see the counter go, and it scrolls up. Okay. To build the earning team and security, that's all. Should already know what to do on that. Okay. So the in-app transfer started. The community got to select. I think we were allowed to select 3 people and put them in that we thought would be good for the in-app transfer. Then core from that, I forget, there was like 90,000 or something. There was a big number of people that were candidates for the in-app transfer. Out of those candidates, core chose 300. I think it was 200. It was between 250 or 300 people to be in-app transfer pilots. Going into the pilot, we learned that we could not sell pie for cash. We could not make any transaction. We had that was all set up for us. In-app transfer, we thought we were all going to do in-app transfer, and we had done deals and whatever. That went by the wayside. It also woke some people up. Like, there's a lot of people that woke up, myself included, and saw pie. Because the way the thinking of the community was the exchanges, how crypto trades on the exchange, how pie was going to trade on the exchange. That was the thinking of the community, the whole community at the time. We had come up with what we thought would be a fair exchange price, and we agreed upon it as a community. It was a done deal. It was a done deal. So when the in-app transfer started, and one of the first announcements was from Core that pie cannot be traded for fake currency, any currency. Any currency that's being used today, including cryptos, pie cannot trade for those. Because whatever's going on, pie's running on an emulator or a faucet. I'm still trying to figure that one out. Okay, but pie is being emulated. It is on an emulator. Now, how it's being distributed, whether it's something, that's all different. Pie is being emulated. Being emulated means, to me, there is no pie. Even if it's coming out of a faucet, there is no pie. We own no pie. Yes, we have a balance, and we're earning that balance on account. And until we get to phase 3 and we can claim our account and Core honors our balance, we own no pie. We have no pie. Even the pie that's in the wallets right now is test pie. It's not ours, it's test pie. It will get, I don't know how it's all going to work or how it's all going to play out, but we have to claim our accounts. before phase 3 or at the start of phase 3 or whatever it is, we have to claim our accounts. Core, if our accounts are legit and whatever, then they will honor our PI balances. I'm thinking when they honor our PI balances, whatever test PI balance is in the wallet gets wiped out. It will be, one way or another, it will be wiped out. And when our account gets honored, the PI that we've earned, what we've earned alone, will be the first PI that goes into our wallet. Then as our teams come through, if they claim their accounts and they get their balances, we will get the PI that we earned with them. Until everybody is through and claim their accounts or whatever it is. And when that process is done, and everybody that can claim accounts, whatever accounts are left over, whatever PI is gone. It just gets wiped out. All the official numbers start at phase 3. Okay. So, keeping that in mind, there's nothing we can do with PI right now except earn it. Well, the in-app transfer pilot started. And there are a few schools of thought on how the in-app transfer pilot started, or how it was split. What it was the people that had PI, that could use PI, that could transfer PI, were supposed to start spending PI, moving PI, using it to buy stuff, goods and services from other pioneers. PI is a peer-to-peer, it's a peer-to-peer transaction, peer-to-peer marketplace. Okay? Now, at the time, there was also talk about a PI market, an in-app PI marketplace, and it didn't roll out with the in-app transfer, and it still hasn't rolled out, and I haven't heard anything about it, and all of that has gotten pretty hush-hush and whatever. But transfers are still going on. People are still using PI to buy things. There are economies that have started. Now, whether you agree with how they're started, what they're doing, what they got to, okay, you don't have to agree with any of it. You don't have to agree with it because we're not involved in it yet. But when we do get the opportunity to get involved in it, you need to figure out what you're doing and get involved with it and get involved with the right stuff. Because that is our job. That was our job. And what happened was when pilots started, they all signed agreements that they couldn't turn PI into cash, money, fiat, other crypto. They just couldn't. When you sign an agreement, it's an official agreement, legal binding official agreement. And if you can't stick to it, well, there were a few people that couldn't stick to it and tried to turn PI into cash. After listening, talking, reading and signing the agreement, they still went ahead and did it. And all they did was screw the community. Yeah. I think their accounts were frozen, gone, and they're gone. Okay. Because they pretty much shut the project down as far as our end of building it was concerned. Yeah. Because we have no PI to sell to anybody or trade to anybody for any. We don't have the feature. We don't have the PI. PI is not ours. So if you're making a deal to sell your PI to somebody, you're scamming them. You're committing a fraud. And if they send you cash, I hope you go to jail, man. I really do. Because you're hurting the project. Because you just created PI as a scam. You just made PI a scam. Because you have nothing to sell. And anybody that transfers cash to anybody saying that they're selling PI, you ought to go with them too. Because it's been stated, we cannot trade PI for cash. PI cannot be turned into cash. Not until phase 3. And if you can't stick to it, man, if you can't stick to the way things, you got to read what's written. But if you can't stick to the way it's written, get the hell out. Yeah, all you've done or all you're doing is hurting the project. Okay? Because PI goal is to become the money, to become an economy, to become its own ecosystem. And if we own no PI, we have nothing to sell until We claim our accounts, and Core has to honor our account before we get Pi. I don't know what's so hard to understand about that. I know people want money, and I know people are broke, and I know people know the space, and I know. But if you can't follow the way it's written, you have no business being here. Because if you read the FAQ in the white paper, Pi is not free money. There is no money in Pi. There is only Pi in Pi. When Pi goes phase 3, yes, exchanges can list Pi. That's when Pi can be traded for cash. There are only 2 ways to earn anything out of Pi. It's written in the roadmap. There are only 2 ways to earn anything out of Pi. Either use Pi to buy goods and services, or if it lists on the exchange, trade it on the exchange. The only way you're going to get money, cash money, hard money, fiat money, cryptocurrency, is for Pi to trade on the exchange. It's the only way. There is no other way to get cash from Pi. Okay? That's why the in-app pilot got shut down. That's why there were no additions to the in-app transfer pilot. Because the majority of the community would do something stupid as soon as they got the feature. As soon as they got the feature to transfer Pi, they would do something stupid. There's not a doubt in my mind. Not a doubt in my mind. Not a doubt in Core's mind. Core could not take the chance of adding any more people. Even people that they know wouldn't do anything, they couldn't take the chance of adding any more people to the pilot for that reason. Yeah, that when I think about it, and I think about because I know people are thinking about today and what's going on. No, if you know what was going on back then, and piece together what was going on back then and where we should be today, we should be ready to launch phase 3, if not have already launched phase 3. And it's no fault but our own. It's no fault but the community's. Yes. I'm part of the community, so I got to deal with it. Okay? Because, just look at how many people come in and say Pi's fake, Pi's a scam, Pi's this, Pi, okay? Core's doing this, Core's doing that, okay? A person that sells, a pioneer that sells Pi and gets cash for something they don't have, yeah, you just made the project a scam. You made the project a scam and a fraud. That's why nobody else could get the feature. That's why we couldn't do what we were supposed to do. We were supposed to start, okay, the pilots were supposed to get the ball rolling, get Pi moving, getting goods and services, lining up, creating the stuff that's going on now. The little bit of stuff that's going on now. Whether you agree with it, don't agree with it, don't whatever. That should have been going on. That should have been going on from the time the pilot launched and scaled, as Pi community scaled, to where we're at now. People that are here, that have done the X amount of time or whatever it is, however Core would have set it up, would have had the in-app transfer already. Would have been able to move Pi already. Would have been able to buy goods and services. Would have been able to be part of these economies. Would have been able to do something with Pi. Not on the exchanges, because that's not Pi's goal. Pi's goal is community, being used to buy goods and services. If you have something... I know there are a lot of people that are looking to sell either a good or a service for Pi, that will accept Pi for whatever they have. There are a lot of people out there. And yeah, I get in trouble. Yeah, I used to hook people up. I wouldn't tell them where to go, but I would let them know what was going on. They can make their own choice, because it doesn't matter to me where, as long as it's going. And yes, I've gotten in trouble and whatever, not probably. Okay. Because, yes, I am behind one of the economies. Because I was involved in I wasn't involved in setting it up, but I was involved in the thought process of getting to where the value is. The app and stuff, I have no business. That is mine. I'm involved, but it's not. No, that's not mine. Creating value and why the value is, that I'm a part of, and I understand why. So once the in-app transfer pilots got closed, and there are still a lot of schools of thought, there's a lot of animosity, a lot of tension, a lot of there's a lot of bad blood between people on how the economies have started, what's going on, and what's happening, whatever. Okay? And we're all smart people. They're all smart people, but I think that the issue and the conflict or the animosity or whatever it is that has arisen is because some people believe it should go this way. Some people believe it should go this way. Some people believe it should, okay. If you're looking at the exchange, you're looking in the wrong place. It's a secondary goal. It's not even on the table because we can't do anything with pie. We can't do anything with pie. We can't sell it. We can't sell it for cash. It's already stated. Until it gets to the exchange, we can't trade it for cash. So that is off the table. It is. It's off the table. And if that's where you're focused, you're not focused. You're not focused in helping pie move forward. Because there still are things that we can do now to help pie achieve that goal. And through this, okay, where the schools of thought are, okay, on value. In the white paper, I don't know whether it's still there, but there was a section that talks about creating pie value in economy, and it stated barter. The pie is a barter system, and there are a lot of ways to barter, but how to barter with the money, you have to have a value on the money. You have to have a value on what the money is, what the money's going to be used. Whatever's being used as the money, you have to have a value on it. Because it doesn't work if you're bartering with the money. If you're using the money as a barter to barter for something, and the person, okay, I'll try to get a little more into bartering probably in the next section, because it is a complicated deal for the full evolution of barter. Okay. To be able to use, right? I used to use bottle caps as pie, right? Pie is the money. That is the means of exchange that we're going to use to buy something. Whether it's a good or a service, that's the means of exchange that we're going to use to buy something. Okay. Well, when we're in a barter system, whoever we're bartering with, we have to value pie at the same. It has to be valued at the same value, at the same quantity. Because if the person that I'm looking to buy something from doesn't value pie, then, and I value my pie, and it doesn't matter what the range difference is. The bigger the range difference, the more discrepancies we're going to have. Because I'm sitting on this end, been in cars, horses, a horse tack, whatever. I've been to a lot of auctions, animals, whatever. So I'm using that as my basis. But if you go back to what a true barter system is, a true barter system, starting out, is trading goods for goods. Apples for oranges, or apples for eggs, or apples for wheat, or whiskey for this, or whiskey, you're bartering a good for a good. Which is pretty, when you're bartering good for good, yeah, I got 3 eggs, it is what it is, well, yeah, you got a bottle of whiskey, well, yeah, no, the 3 eggs aren't worth a bottle of whiskey, but it's worth a half bottle of whiskey. All right, we'll settle on it. You get 3 eggs, I get a half bottle of whiskey. You can make the transaction happen. Or whatever it is, quarter bottle, whatever. You can make the transaction happen on goods and goods. But if the money you're using, the money you're going to use, if you have two offsetting values, you can't come to an agreement. Because if this person has it low, say, for shits and giggles, he has pie valued at 10 cents. In his mind, pie is worth 10 cents. And he's got 3 eggs, and I want the 3 eggs. And I value my pie at $10, $5. You can go $5 just to keep it close. Okay. So I'm haggling on my pie worth $5. He's haggling on his pie being valued at 10 cents. We'll never come to an agreement. We'll never make that deal. Because he's going to want me to give more pie than I'm willing to give for those. He's expecting more pie than I'm willing to give for those. You can't use the money to barter. the money is to buy. Now you can haggle over price, okay? But if you're valuing the money the same, then you have a place to haggle from, barter from, dance from. But if it's not the same, you can't dance. You can't dance if the values are different. If the expected values are different, you can't dance. You will walk. Both of you will walk away pissed off because it won't happen. It won't. And if you really want or need what that person has, and you can't make that deal, yeah, most likely both of you are going to walk away mad because he really wants to sell them. You really want to buy them, but you can't come to an agreement. And when you have to do that for every transaction that you have going on, every think about all these transactions that you do a day, and you have to go through that every day. Every day, you have to go through that to buy what you need, to get what you need. It won't work. It can't work. Once you get to a certain point, things change. Okay, so going in and starting these economies, basically that's what happened. Some economies went in they had no value. I mean, they had very low joke value. Okay, and they're thinking, then let the market sort out what its prices, what its value is going to be. Well, you can't. It doesn't work because it has no starting place. Okay, and being that having pie valued that low, that means for a small ticket item, if you have pie valued at a penny, 2 cents, and you're looking to buy a $20 item, whatever it is. I mean, that's how much pie, at 2 cents, how much pie do you need to buy that $20 item? 2,005 or something like that? Now you get up into bigger, at that price, now you're starting to talk thousands of pie. The way pie is structured and the way coins are being distributed, there are not very many people coming in. As pie grows and expands, the farther it goes out, the less pie the people have coming in. Yes, at the top earn at a higher rate, so they have a bigger stack. If they have earnings, they have a bigger stack. The next one comes down, it halves. Everybody halves is the same thing. So everybody above halved. Everybody coming in is getting that rate. These are still getting bigger. This is still getting bigger. And then it halves again. And then both tiers level out. The rate, it levels out. So everybody's getting the same rate that was above. Dropping down to that next halving rate. Everybody coming in is getting the new rate. So they're going to be getting less. So each time it halves, the base, the community base, user base, is getting bigger, getting wider, because it's taking more people to get to the next halving. So all of these people coming in now are the foundation of pie. Yes, you can look at it kind of like a pyramid, but the pyramid, as it gets to a point, is flattening out, and everybody is flattening out with it. What's happening now? Once pie is in phase 3, there's a reason for that. Okay, people that were here at 10,000 people I think it launched at 1,000 or 10,000 or something. Anybody who was here when they went private project on 3/14/19 were rewarded for being early, because there was even less than what Pi's got now, and they were helping support and build and growing the community and building a circle and doing what was expected of them to move Pi forward, to help Pi grow. And as each halving happens, the earning gets less, the base gets bigger, the less Pi is going out to the base. Okay? But they were still, people that were like myself, that were here at 100,000, there was nothing here. There was nothing here. White paper, hope, and a dream. I mean, there was nothing, there was less here then than there is now. But for being that early, we were able to mine at a higher rate for being that early, supporting it and helping it grow to get to this point. As it grows and the community gets bigger, the less is really expected of you. Because the way it should have went is as the community scaled, the in-app transfer should have scaled, which meant the economy should have scaled, which meant the stop should have scaled. Everything should have scaled as Pi scaled. And it got closed. I mean, it wasn't open a couple of days and it got closed. Door slammed shut. And nobody's been able to get in and do what we were supposed to do as a group. Okay, which I'm looking at and seeing. I know why people are leaning to the exchanges, because there's nothing here to show them what Pi is supposed to be doing. And what is doing what it's supposed to be doing is unofficial and closed to the community. Unless you drift there yourself. It is happening. To say it's not happening, you can't say it's not. It is happening. Transactions are happening. They're being recorded. They're being logged and kept track of. Products are moving back and forth. Yes. I have bought through the backer system on TTL. I have bought things that I've needed or wanted. Not much, but there were a few items that I was looking for that I wanted, that I needed for whatever I had going on. Yes, and I was able to buy those with the Pi. Yes, now I have to pay that Pi back. I have to pay the backer back, the back those transactions for me. But that's the only way it can happen right now. That is the only way it can happen. The person I got my goods from got Pi for what I bought. The person that backed me, there's no interest or no whatever. They just backed my transaction because they trust that I'll pay them back. That's all it is. I mean, I can go into that and something else, but that's how that economy is set up. There's also one in China that is doing almost exactly the same thing as what this one is, for the same value, and it's on a backer system too. And from what now I don't know the truth, or if it's all true, or if it's a scam or whatever. I think it's a scam. I think the Pi Mall and being able to transact on a small scale, small level, get small ticket items, I believe that is real. I believe that is happening. The big ticket items that I've heard, like a house and a car and all this other stuff, I don't believe that's Pi from this project. I believe it's a copycat that's going on. Because it's too big of an item. It's too big of an item, too big a Pi transaction to... Pi's not ready to make those kind of transactions yet. No, it's not, because we're not close. But they are happening. Another one that has theirs set a lot lower, they've built the infrastructure, but I don't know how many Pi transactions have actually happened. Or I know they did raise their value from what it was to $10. That I do know. But I don't know how many actual transactions or how they're set it up, because just because. Now I also know Facebook has a small economy going. They have people with in-app transfer capability, and they have started a small economy. And they have their Pi, I believe, valued at $15. They're making transactions at $15. Now there are other places in other countries. There's a brick and mortar place in the Philippines. There's a couple of brick and mortar places in Canada that are actually, you can, from the Philippines, you can go, if you live by this location, you can actually walk in, whatever, and through the backer system, whatever, they can buy rice, they can buy vegetables, they can buy food. It's happening. It's happening. Guaranteed. It's unofficial, so it can't be talked about. We can't promote it, we can't talk about it, we can't, okay? Because it's unofficial. It being unofficial doesn't mean it's not happening, and doesn't mean it's not Pi, and it doesn't mean it's not pioneers. Now, things that are going on, yes, I would be real careful of. I would investigate, research, and do whatever you're doing to get in there. I mean, to see what's going on before you do anything there. Because there are scams out there. There are futures markets, there are places that are, there are a lot of scams out there. Core has made announcements on the scams, to be careful of the scams. They are out there, and they are looked at, but it's not this project, and it's not this Pi. There's no Pi to move. If there's a in-app transfer pilot that is involved in that and can move Pi, The one I would be worried about is if there is a pilot in there that can send you pie, they can send you pie. But if they want something else in return, like another cryptocurrency, I don't think they would go as far as for cash, but they would trade in cryptocurrency. They would say, hey, I'll send you X amount of pie. We have pie valued at this. It's a futures market. We have it valued at this. You send me, I'll send you pie. You send me X amount of whoever. Okay? If that is happening, most likely it'll be shut down. Everybody involved in it will be gone because it can't. It's not allowed. It's not allowed. And if there are such going on, court is probably aware of them. So research what you're doing. The economies that have started that will trade pie for you, and you get a good, you're all good. You're safe. That's what pie is meant to do. It's just we got stonewalled. We can't, because if we as pioneers would have been able to do what I think the internet transfer pilot was supposed to do, scale as the community scale, where we would be today, as far as the economy going, and where pie value was set, it would be a done deal. The pie economy would already be moving, and it would be solid, would backed up transactions. It would, even if they were just on the test blockchain. Okay. Everything is, all of the transactions that have gone on that are legit, you can see somewhere. They are all recorded and legit. Now, whether they may not be on the blockchain's not running, but they are recorded and secured somewhere inside these economies that have started up. Guaranteed. See, I know they're there, and I know they're being protected. So, those are legit. But if that would have been happening from when the pilot started, and grown and scaled and whatever to the point we are now, we probably would have launched phase 3 already. And because that is Pi's goal. That is what Pi is supposed to be doing. Being used as a means of exchange between us to buy goods and services. And if that would have scaled, because when it started, we were 200,000 people, 20 million people, a little over a year and a half, maybe a little under a year and a half. If all of that would have been filtered into using Pi already, it would have been a done deal. It would have been, because I understand why people are leaning towards the markets, towards the exchanges, because they don't see anything that can be done with Pi. They can't use the Pi. So their strategy is on the exchange. It's what every other crypto has done. But that is not Pi's goal. And what the sad part is, people that know Pi, that have been talking Pi, have been putting out this information, have been putting out that there is stuff going on. But we're not believed. Because you can't, it's hard to find, or you don't know where to find, or you don't know where to look, or you don't know, or you see it and you don't believe it, or whatever. Because it's unofficial. Well, all of these videos that are on YouTube, and all of these sites that you're investigating, you're researching, that are unofficial, you believe all them. Anything that's put out on social media right now that didn't come from here is unofficial. It's unofficial bogus information. Anything coming out here is official. I mean, anything about this is the official place. We can't talk about the unofficial stuff going on. We're not supposed to talk about, but out here, my videos are unofficial. These economies have started, and that's what we should have been built. So, by losing all that time, because nobody can see what's going on, and how Pi value would be started, or would come about, is through border system, through a border system, and as things scaled, and we worked through the barter system, went through the evolution of the barter system. We may not be where it should be yet, but it will get there. It can't do anything but get there. It has to get there. And when I'm talking prices and values right now, I'm not talking long term. They're starting prices and values. Because once those prices and values are set, or we agree to set them, once Pi goes live, that's when the markets take over and the values and prices and stuff will swing to the markets. Yeah. But if you don't have a market, you're not on the market, you have nothing to influence and control or do whatever. And to wait for somebody either tell us what the value is going to be, or wait for somebody to tell us this is what we should be doing, and be in phase 3, it's going to be too late. I don't know. My opinion, it will be too late because we will have given up too much real estate. We will have given up too much ground that we will never get back. We will never get back. Because if you go by the numbers that people are putting out today, not what the economies are going, not what the economies are using as their buying power value. I'm talking about experts from the space, exchange experts from the space. They have Pi value for under $1. If Pi goes to the exchange, if Pi were to go to the exchange and list on the exchange right now, with everything that everybody thinks they know, Pi would list on the exchange for less than $1, less than 50 cents probably. You can't buy anything with 50 cents. And with a value that low, with that many people, you probably cut out half the community. Half the community couldn't even use their Pi. They probably couldn't even sell it on the exchange. Because people aren't thinking about how much Pi a million people have. The last million people that came in, I don't think you're thinking about how much Pi they have. You don't care how much Pi they have. You're not worried about how much Pi they have. To set a Pi value, you need to worry about those people. They are part of the community. They are the biggest part of the community. Because if you start at the bottom, they have a little Pi, a little more Pi, a little more Pi, a little more Pi. But you have to get to a certain point to where whatever exchange price that you've set on Pi, they have to be able to buy something with Pi. Well, if Pi value is price, and price is that low, you have to get way up on the scale for people to even be able to use Pi. And if Pi can't be used, it's useless, it's worthless, it's no good. And I'll try to get into that one a little later, because I don't think people are making the connection. They're not making the connection. Okay. Pi value is buying power, what we can buy with. How many people can buy with? That's why values are set on the economy side where they're at. And why the top ones have set it where they've set it. So that the last million people coming in can use their Pi. Wanting to use their Pi. Willing to use their Pi. Everybody in Pi has to want and be willing to use it. If they don't want to use it, they're not willing to use it, they won't use it. And if it's not being used, then it's no good. Pi's power and strength comes from being used. Okay. So, there's a separation. And if you haven't figured out by now, exchanges aren't on the table. We shouldn't even be worried about it, thinking about what that price is. No, not yet. Not yet. But I'm using it as a reference because there's a big separation between value and price. Price is trading volume for turning Pi into other money. Pi value, buying power value, is the money. Pi is to be used as the money. Pi is the currency. Pi is the... When we push the button and that counter keeps going up, that's the money we're earning. We are earning the money. And if you don't value your earnings, then why are you earning? Okay? It's about thinking about things different. If you don't value what you're getting because it's free, and it's not free, because you see it as free, but it's not free. It's really not free. We have to work for it. We have to do certain things for what we're working for. When you start thinking you're working for it, you start to attach value to it. If you start to attach value to it, it becomes valuable to you. When it becomes valuable to you, and it's already valuable to me, then we have something to build from. We're at the ground level. That's where we're at. We are at that ground level. And so here we are at this point. So we're 20 million people behind where we should be. That's where pi is. We're 20 million people in growth. We're 20 million people behind where we should be. Pi, because of pi's goal, and where pi's at, and what's going on with pi, where it's at in development, how we're getting our pi, and how we will get our pi. It's totally. You have to look at it from different perspectives. You have to look at pi from different perspectives. Pi has a lot of facets to it. You have to see all of those facets to make them come together. You have to take off you have to leave what you know at the door, even temporarily, to come in and see it empty. Come in and see pi empty. Start laying things out. Start connecting the dots. Look at the history of what's happened and what's transpired up to this point. It does lay out. And it's all in the white paper. It is all in the white paper. And if you lay the white paper out and if you're laying the pieces out, you start to see it. You start to see what pi is. And then you get to a point. You see what crypto is. You see what crypto should have been. We'll get. Okay, I'm running long on this one again. So think about where pi was. I know if you're new to this, I know you have no clue what happened up to this point. But you have to think about where we were. You have to put it in the right context. Put it in the right context from where we were to where we are now. And what most people see coming in, it's all about what the space is now. What is going on in the space outside of pi. And people are coming in expecting pi to be outside of pi, to be outside on the exchange, to be outside. I don't know how to get people to stop that. When you push the button to enter pi, it's like you're pushing a locked door, man. It's like you're pushing a locked door and it's opening up, and you're coming into the community, and the door closes behind you. Yes. There's invite codes all over social media. It's being talked about all over social media. There's videos and information. Okay, it's unofficial. What's happening inside of pi is official. What's going on inside of pi is official. And because outside is being drug inside, it's real cloudy in here, man. It's real cloudy, real blurred. The lines are real blurred. The goal of what pi is trying to achieve is in distant fog, unless you know what it is and know what you're looking for. If you leave what you know outside for a little bit and see it, be a blank slate, we will start to see it. Guaranteed. All right, man. I'm out. Y'all have a good one.